All right, so this is the last of this batch of videos. Sitting on the couch with my hoodie on. So the first question is, Michael, if you're lonely, then why don't you just call? And that looks like a. It almost looks like the face that you see when you hear the trollolololololololol, that song. That's a question from the Phantom Lion, right? And I'm going to say I'm not calling you because I don't want to play Let's Be Cats. Okay? I'm not a member of the furry cat mafia. I. Fuck. I can't even imagine playing with actual cats. You know? If I were a Satanist, I don't even know which end of the cat I would stick the knife in. Cats don't even, enter the equation as far as like what I want to do with my time. Okay? So, fuck off. Next question. This one comes from Poseidon Kicklidon. He says, new question. According to Jenny Kiss's latest vid, Trisha Paytas has been forced to become a paid sex worker again in order to maintain her YouTube celebrity lifestyle due to her demonetization. No, I'm not joking. If true, what are your thoughts on this development? If untrue, is Jenny Kiss having another public breakdown and flirting with having her channel yanked down again? Either way, is this yet another watershed moment in YouTube history? Is PewDiePie doomed to be a rent boy? Okay, first one. I'd say if Trisha Paytas has to go back to a different profession that she might have been in before, if she wasn't ready to do that, then maybe she should have planned better with this little success that she had on YouTube and do something like get a trade, like, say, Mr. Epsilon. If she had invested in herself, she wouldn't be doing the job that she didn't like to do before. She might have a new job besides being a YouTuber. She might have, been able to do something else if she had invested in herself. And so if she's back to being a paid sex worker and she doesn't like it, well, that's, we all make choices. If this isn't true, is Jenny having another public breakdown and flirting with having her channel yanked? Maybe, but that's okay as long as she's having fun doing it. People have the relationship with their audience that they want. And if her relationship is to have her channel go down in flames and then be reborn like a phoenix out of the ashes in order to live another day for another drama through some other channel, that's fine. She's not the first, won't be the last. Either way, is this yet another watershed moment in YouTube history? Well, it's like a footnote to it. The demonetization is the watershed moment. And everybody being affected by it in different ways. I feel like that's just little footnotes. Personally, the demonetization for me is like I've already come to terms with the realization for me that being a D-list celebrity on YouTube is probably never going to happen, nor would I want it in the form that it's become. And now that I see that people who had built their lives around the livelihood of being a paid vlogger, I'm like, wow, look at how they've made this bad decision and trusted this system that was so volatile, and could be pulled away from them at any time. Ugh. And I think this is really teaching people that dream of becoming a YouTube star is not something to try to reach for. You know, make sure that you have your affairs in order if you're not going to become a rich YouTube star. Is PewDiePie doomed to be a rent boy? Not in my dreams. Uh, the guy that I just like to call Telly Savalas, whose name is like I'm going to try to pronounce it. It's Quintica Tijum. Anyways, he says, I'm sure that big leather chair has seen a lot of action. Am I right? No. No. Here's the thing about leather chairs and action. Okay, that leather chair that I'm normally sitting in. If you get a little bit sweaty, just a little bit, and then any action were to happen on a leather chair, you get stuck to it like Velcro. Alright? Like Velcro. So don't even try it. Kids, don't try that at home. Last question. This is from Pirate Party of America. And I'm being asked, let me ask you one question. Are you recovering? If not, then where did you learn about drugs? How do you know what drugs are good and which are bad for you? No, I don't consider myself in recovery. I'm a person who has never smoked a cigarette in my life, nor have I ever used cannabis in my life. I haven't had a drink of alcohol in like so long. I mean, I think the last time I had some alcohol in my mouth, it was because I had a toothache, and I just was using it as like a topical thing, holding a shot in my mouth. Yeah, the idea of getting drunk is just lost its appeal for me because I've seen so many people at their worst, and smelled drunk homeless people over and over again. Yeah, like I've said in other videos, I don't even like going to movie theaters because of the smell of buttered popcorn, reminding me of the smell of homeless people's body odor and socks being dirty from like not changed over days, and alcohol, just oozing out of their pores. It's ugh. When I see people, even if I were to go to like Buffalo Wild Wings and see another table, having fun and drinking, what I'm thinking is, I know where that's going to end up. One of them is probably going to be one of my future clients. So I just don't get any enjoyment out of it anymore. But as far as like, how would I know which drugs are good and which drugs are bad for you? I see people when it's clear that the drugs that they're on are bad for them. The situations that would bring them to me would not be because they're taking a supplement and that was being good for them. No. People usually have some problems cropping up in their life before they see me. So, which drugs are good and which are bad actually is more of a criteria of how many bad things have happened in your life because of those drugs. That's how we get to whether or not we're going to diagnose someone with a substance use disorder. I also, I've been asked this question a couple times as far as, where would my authority be in being a substance use counselor if I haven't used any of the drugs that the people that I'm counseling have used, And I feel like this would even be a question that would be asked if I had been in recovery and say my drug of choice was alcohol and I was counseling somebody who was a heroin addict, or I was formerly a heroin addict, and if I was counseling someone who was a meth addict, the experience doesn't translate from one drug to another even, right? So the fact that I am not in recovery from any of those hard drugs whatsoever, um, it's not really something that's an issue. The techniques that are used in order to counsel someone are the same. Um, I have empathy for people, and if I didn't think that I could counsel people out of hard times that I don't really have a way to personally relate to, I wouldn't be in the business of counseling people. It takes a lot of empathy to be flexible to different situations. I mean, I'm never going to be able to personally empathize with experience with somebody who is pregnant and they've been smoking crack and they want to make sure that their baby isn't going to be hurt by the relapse that they had after they got pregnant. You know, that's not something I'm ever going to have to deal with ever in my life. The feeling that I might have personally deformed my own baby. But I help counsel people through situations such as that. That was a really messed up fake situation that I just created. That's not, anyone in particular, but I like to tell people, if you want to start living a better life, then you come to a counselor, right? And if you want somebody who's really knowledgeable about all the different kinds of drugs that you could be using and what are the benefits of them and what are the drawbacks, go see your drug dealer. You know, I will come with book smarts and try to lead you on a different path towards sobriety and not falling into the traps of the kind of thoughts that lead to relapse. I will help you on your way to successful life. If you want to have somebody who's knowledgeable in how to not be successful, go see the guy on the corner slinging dope. That's not me. I'm here to teach you about how it is you can start from scratch and hit rock bottom and be able to claw your way out of that hole and get a job and get a place and fix the hole in your resume of having months of no job and try to mend relations with your friends and family that you burned along the way. That's what I do. Do I need to know what it was like when that rush hit, when the first time you used heroin and you banged that shit in your arm? No, I don't need to know that. I would not get extra credit for my job. I wouldn't get a bonus or a raise if I went out and slammed some drugs into my arm. That's absurd. Why wouldn't they make all addiction counselors line up when they're in class and do a line of coke and some meth and some, just fucking line it all up, followed up with a couple shots, and go like, this is the experience. Why don't they do that? Because it isn't important to the job, right? I don't need to know what that shit feels like. And I think I pretty much answered the question. And I'm all talked out for today. If you have any more questions for me, you can leave them in comments on my videos. You can go to Twitter to try to at me. You can. I just set up a Discord server for my Patreon patrons. You can ask me there. You can try to reach me in a whole bunch of different ways. You can even private message me on Facebook if you're one of my Facebook friends. So there's many different ways to reach me. I'm really looking forward to next week after Christmas. I feel like that's when I'm going to have a lot of fun filming some things outside, getting out into the world, taking a little me time, and I think I'm going to make it special for you all. Especially covering the Skeptic Feminist murder trial preliminary hearing on the 29th. That shit's going to be awesome. If you're there in Grand Junction, meet me at the courthouse, and then afterwards we're going to go for wings. Laters.